For a long time, people have thought of cats as these lazy, aloof roommates who couldn't care less what happens to their humans. But if you live with a cat, you might have seen something totally different. Does your cat ever stare at the door for no reason, puff up their fur when a stranger walks in, or plant themselves right between you and something they find suspicious? After working with cats and their people for over 2 decades, one pattern shows up again and again. Many cats absolutely do watch over the person they trust most. They just do it in quieter, sometimes weirder ways than dogs. Recent articles and videos about this very topic all say the same thing. Cats can show guarding behavior, but because it's so subtle, all body language and positioning, most of us miss it completely. So in this video, you're going to learn 10 signs your cat is secretly guarding you, not just being clingy or strange. As you listen, mentally tick off how many of these your cat does. By the end, you'll know if you're living with a simple companion or a tiny whiskered security guard. And remember, every cat is an individual. Even 1 or 2 of these signs happening in the right context can reveal a lot about how seriously your cat takes their job as your protector. First, it helps to understand why this even happens. Studies on cat-human bonds now show that many pet cats form secure attachments to their people, very similar to what we see in dogs and even human infants. A securely attached cat uses you as their safe base. They feel more confident when you're around, and they basically organize their world around your presence. When a cat sees you as part of their social group and your home as shared territory, it's not a big leap for them to start monitoring threats to that territory and to you. They aren't thinking, I must protect my owner, but their instincts kick in. They feel a push to stand between a valued member of their group and anything that feels dangerous. That instinctive mix of territorial defense and social bonding is what looks like protection to us. Now let's talk about what that actually looks like. One of the clearest signs your cat is secretly guarding you is where they put their body. Experts on protective behavior explain that many guarding cats will physically place themselves between their human and something unfamiliar. You might notice your cat quietly sliding in front of you when a visitor gets too close, sitting directly between you and the door, or positioning themselves between you and another pet. Their body usually looks tense but controlled. Muscles tight, weight shifted forward, and eyes locked on the threat, but they'll keep you behind them. If your cat repeatedly steps forward while keeping you safely in the background, that is classic low-key bodyguard positioning. Another big signal is the stare. Owners of protective cats often report that their cat will sit near them but fix their eyes on the front door, a dark hallway, or a specific person they clearly don't trust. Articles on this topic call out this intense, unblinking staring as a key behavior. Their ears will tilt toward the sound, their pupils might get huge, and their whole body seems locked onto that one spot. In that moment, your cat isn't just zoning out. They're gathering information and getting ready to respond. If you've ever wondered why your cat seems to be on watch while sitting next to you, that hyper-focus on entrances is exactly what a sentry does. A third sign is puffed up fur, but the context is everything. You've probably seen that classic Halloween cat look. Fur standing up along their spine and tail, body arched, tail fluffed out. This is a defensive posture meant to make the cat look bigger and more threatening. But the difference between fear and protection is what they do next. Many owners notice their cats growling under their breath when someone knocks on the door, hissing when a stranger comes too close, or meowing loudly when they sense something is off in another room. These sounds are usually aimed outward, not at you. It's almost like your cat is telling the world, you're crossing a line. When your normally quiet cat suddenly gets vocal when someone moves into your space or raises their voice near you, that might be their instinctive way of stepping in and saying, back off. One of the most relatable signs is how they follow you, but again, context matters. Yes, cats follow us out of affection, habit, or because they want food. But protective cats will often track their owner much more closely when something feels wrong. They'll shadow you from room to room, skip their usual naps, and refuse to fully relax as long as there's a possible threat. Maybe you're home alone at night. there's a storm outside or strangers are visiting. In calm times, they might sleep in another room, but when the situation feels weird, they become a little furry shadow glued to your ankles. When that following is clearly linked to specific, tense situations, it's less about being clingy and more about making sure their favorite person stays safe. Where your cat sleeps can also reveal their secret job. Articles highlight that many guarding cats choose spots that give them control over access to you, especially at night. They might sleep in doorways, at the entrance to your bedroom, on the side of the bed facing the door, or at your feet with their body angled toward the room instead of curled away. This is not random. Those spots are perfect lookout points. A cat that consistently chooses vantage points where they can rest but still monitor who comes near you is behaving more like a night guard than just a house pet. Another sign your cat has slipped into guard mode is how fast they react to new noises or movements around you. Protective cats are often described as hyper-responsive when they hear thumps, bangs, or raised voices. Your cat might jolt awake from a deep sleep, rush into the room where you are, and stare toward the source of the sound, sometimes putting themselves right next to you or slightly in front of you. Their body will often be low to the ground but ready, ears scanning, eyes wide, and tail tense. That instant switch from relaxed to, "What was that? Are you okay?" is an instinctive vigilance focused on both the environment and your safety. For some cats, protection becomes really obvious when other animals are involved. There are tons of stories about cats stepping between their human and a dog, swatting at another pet that jumps on their person, or even physically rushing a dog that gets too rough. Not every cat will go this far, and you shouldn't encourage them into dangerous fights. But if your cat routinely moves to intercept other animals that come into your personal space, especially if their fur is puffed and they keep their body between you and the other animal, that is a huge clue they see themselves as your defender. Protection isn't only about physical danger. It can show up in emotional moments, too. Articles about the cat-human bond point out that cats who deeply trust their humans often respond when that person is distressed. If you're crying, anxious, or sick, you might notice your cat suddenly climbing into your lap, pressing their body against you, purring, or refusing to leave your side. Some will even sit on your chest and stare into your face or touch you with a paw until you pay attention. Behaviorally, this is partly them seeking comfort for themselves, but it's also them offering social support, which functions as emotional protection. They're saying, "I'm here, you're not alone. I'm watching over you while you're vulnerable." The final big sign is that your cat seems relaxed most of the time, but flips into this tense, ready-to-act mode only in specific situations that actually feel threatening. A truly protective cat isn't in a constant state of panic. They can nap, play, and act like a normal companion. But when a stranger enters, a loud argument breaks out, or something unusual happens near you, they suddenly straighten up, tense their muscles, reposition themselves, and start scanning for danger. That context-driven, on-off switch is one of the clear signs that your cat feels some responsibility for keeping an eye on you. It's important to say this clearly. Protection and chronic stress can look similar, but they are not the same thing. A cat who's always puffed up, hiding and hissing at everything is not being brave. They're overwhelmed and need help feeling safer. You don't want a cat living in permanent guard mode. What you're really looking for is a cat who can enjoy life but also clearly steps up when something genuinely seems off. That balance usually comes from a strong bond with you and a safe, predictable environment. So now that you've heard the 10 signs, think about your own cat. Do they body block visitors, stare at doors, puff up and stay near you, or growl at strangers? Do they follow you more when things feel weird, sleep in guard positions, and rush to check on you when something crashes? Do they cling to you when you're sick or upset? If you're mentally ticking off several of these, chances are you're not just living with a cat, you're living with a small, silent bodyguard who just happens to shed on your clothes. Drop a comment below and let me know which sign your cat shows the most, or tell us the weirdest moment your security cat ever stepped in. Those stories are powerful proof that cats aren't just aloof. They're watching, listening, and making sure nothing gets to you without going through them first. If this helped you see your weird cat as your secret bodyguard, hit like so more cat parents can decode these signs, and subscribe for more deep dive cat psychology made just for us cat guardians.